Hello and welcome everybody to the Abomb's Gladiator Stance 6.2.3 PvP guide. Alright, in this guide I'll be showing you how to do absolutely massive shield slams like this one right here.
Spell reflection, counterspell.
I'm going to be going over all the questions I've been getting as far as the forums go, some of my YouTube videos. How are you actually pulling off these massive shield slams? It seems a little broken and I don't understand. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that, and we're going to have a little fun as well. Now, this is my first guide, so bear with me as I'm learning how to do all this editing stuff. And, yeah, well, you know what? I'm not that great at it yet. I can only aspire to be someone like Swifty, but I'll get a little bit better. So bear with me as I get these first guides going out, and hopefully I get at least some of the questions answered so you guys can start trying this fun too. I had a ton of fun this past weekend during the BG event. And what we're going to cover first, actually, is I'm going to go into some of the talents. Right now, what you want to use is double time. One of the reasons for that is with the two-piece PvP set, you actually get 50% increased critical strike. So what happens and why this is such a valuable skill for Gladiator Stance specifically is this is our Shield Slam spec. What we do damage with is Shield Slam. So right after you charge a target, you're going to have a massive increased chance to critical strike them. You want to have all your CDs popped. You're going to be hitting them for 150, 200k damage sometimes. And this is why it's also very important. If you open up on a druid, get that critical strike hit out on him, do 150k damage, take him down to 50%. He's going to displace your beast as fast as he can because he wants to get the hell out of there. This is actually bad for him because it gives you the chance to charge again and unload another one of those shield slams on him and actually global him and kill your target. There's been quite a few times in either skirms or where I've just been messing around in arena where I've actually killed a druid in the opener because I hit him with a 130k hit. He immediately displaced your beast away to get away. I stun him, charge him again, hit him again for 130k, and it's just a matter of finishing him off with an easy revenge and then execute. Next, we want to go, of course, no-brainer, everywhere it needs enrage regen. This is how we're going to do all of our damage. It's going to be heavy repercussions. No sudden death in this spec. All of our damage is loaded into Shield Slam, hence Shield Slam spec. And then, of course, Stormbolt, Mass Spell Reflect. I mean, you obviously can change this based on what you're doing, but what we're doing here is just running mostly BGs. So you want to do as much damage as possible, and that's going to give you Avatar as well. Now, let's go into the gear, because that's where I get most of the questions. Because people, one of the things you have to understand is, you know what, if you're fresh in greens, you just got in the blues, and you're gearing up, you're not going to be doing some 150k shield slams. It's going to take a little while. This spec is very, very heavily gear dependent, and you have to realize that I have pretty much some of the best in slot gear in game right now. So just be patient, have fun with this spec is what I like to do. I mean, I like going into BGs with friends, blowing people up with a shield slam, and having just people fall out laughing like, what did you hit them for? And that's why we play anyway. You know what? Is to have a good time. So as far as gear goes, I'll tell you what exactly you need, at least to do what the damage I'm doing. And hopefully you guys can find this gear, because a lot of it, some of it, obviously does require some RNG, thanks to Blizzard, and being wadding us to death with its RNG and gear. We can't buy it yet from a vendor. Hopefully that changes. But we want to actually have, first, as I mentioned, the two-piece set. For the two-piece set, I go with 2 pieces of the mastery slots. Obviously, crit mastery, very, very important. Mastery is by far our most valuable stat. Also, I go with the shoulder piece to give me my 2-piece because it's haste mastery as well. Some of my best stat priorities. Now, the reason why mastery actually works out so well for us, guys, is because as a protection warrior, and I'll bring up my shield or my character display here, is that we already get shield mastery, which gives you 5% more mastery stats from all sources. So if you have 100% mastery and or 100 mastery, you get 5% more. That brings you to 105. Then Gladiator Stance gives you another 50. So it's actually not additive. So it's not 55% more, you get 5%, then you multiply that number by 50%. So it actually ends up for 100 mastery, ends up being 157. So as you scale that up with the 740 gear we have this season, it ends up being just a lot of stats. And that's why it got me revisiting this spec, because I really wanted to try something different outside of the Prot Warrior which I made. And with gear scaling getting kind of crazy now with a lot of different gear options, and I just thought, what, this be fun, and I've been having a complete blast in BGs with this spec, even running skirms and a little bit of arena. Now, also too, basically every slot you're going to want to have mastery, and the only slot where I don't have it right now is actually my bracers. One of the reasons is because, you know what, if you have all the mastery in the world, but you have 10% crit, you know what, I just don't like having that least amount of a chance of actually critting. That's where you're doing all your damage. You're not doing damage by, like Prot Warriors or everyone else or any other specs where it's sustained. You want to have those big, huge crits with the spec. That's what it's all about. And you want to make sure you give yourself the best chance to do that by having at least some base crit, where you're going to actually have almost 16% with the gear I have on now. I could opt to put these bracers on right here, which is the haste mastery, but it drops me down a little bit more than I would like, even though it raises my mastery up quite a bit. So I'd rather have it right here and just go with the Versa, which is also really good, guys. I get 1% damage from versatility from these bracers, plus the crit also increases my parry chance. It's a win-win. So I'm avoiding some damage. I'm also going to increase my chances of those big hits. And also, 2 critical strikes. You have a chance to multi-proc, which is really, really important, guys. If you do 150k shield slam and you hit someone with a multi-strike proc of 30, 40k, they're going to die. Plain and simple. You want to also have, obviously enchant-wise, I don't even know if I said that yet, but you want to have your mastery on both your rings, your neck, and of course your back. Then next, with this BG set, keep in mind this is my BG set that I'm running here. Best in slots actually is 715 ring. The reason why is because this ring proc actually grants you 15% increased strength. So as you can see, my strength here, 6253. If I get my ring to proc, maybe it will, maybe it won't. 15% more strength is actually going to be a lot of strength. Then multiplied by 51% attack power is going to give you just completely massive attack power. And that's how you're going to get these massive shield slams and just be doing tons of damage. Also, too, as far as your weapon goes, you definitely need the Mark of Bleeding Hollow, which gives you 500 mastery, which just translates into even more damage. As you can see here, guys, mastery proc, 500 mastery, 83% is 55% more increased damage. Here I got my legendary ring to proc, 7190 strength. It's just so much more damage, as you can see there, just from this ring proc. So that's why when you charge your target, you get your weapon proc, you get your ring proc, you pop your avatar, enrage, your on-use trinket. It's just going to do massive damage. Now the hardest pieces to get for this spec is definitely going to be your trinket selection. Now with this, I got really fortunate in doing a massive amount of BGs this weekend. But I did this and I got this trinket right here, which is your mastery bonus armor. And I was, of course, anytime you get a socket, you're going to be putting a mastery gem in there. Now I coupled this with the on use because I like to control my burst. When I'm popping my avatar, when I have enrage up, when I have my shield charge up, you want to be doing damage in that window. So I eliminate the proc trinket by using the on use, and since I have one with a socket, it's pretty much best in slot and it allows me to choose when I'm going to global someone. And I really like having that freedom. It's only on a 1 minute CD, which means it's going to be up just about the same time as avatar all the time, and it's going to be up basically after my Drader armor potion comes off the CD, and I'm just going to get 20, 25 killing blows in these BGs and just having tons of fun because of this setup. Now, next, I just want to let you guys know, don't be discouraged. Obviously, Blizzard kind of screwed us with this RNG and stuff, but you have a chance to do Asheran every week at your RBG events, which I typically usually do as Prot, just because of Asheran. Well, it's a link of town. But you have a chance to get some of these trinkets. And also, too, from doing the BGs and BG wins, even if you lose and your team does well, you still have a chance of getting an item in a blue box. I got this from a BG loss, actually, and I was bummed out about the loss. And it was one of those close matches, and my team wasn't that great. But you know what? I had a good time, and I got this trinket, and I was like, as soon as I got this trinket, I was like, that's it. I'm actually gonna try Gladiator Spec. And unfortunately, it has such a high gear requirement. You really do want to have a mastery bonus armor trinket. It really does do significant amounts of damage for the spec. I'm not saying, hey guys, don't run the spec if you don't have this trinket, but just understand to do the maximum damage possible, you're going to need this trinket. It's just no other way around it. It's best in slot. And also, too, I get asked, well, you know what, are some of these warmongering pieces better than the Conquest? The answer is yes, they are. Now, I'm not saying you want to run a chest or a helm blue item, but when it comes down to items like these gloves right here, the 710 compared to the 730 compared to the 740, it's only a difference of 31 strength and then 21 mastery. If I find an honor piece of these gloves with a socket, that's actually going to give me more damage than these Conquest ones. Now, I probably wouldn't do it for my gloves because it's only a little bit of more damage and I lose the stamina. But for an item like my ring where I don't have any mastery on it whatsoever, absolutely it's way better than the Conquest version because I get to put that mastery gem in there and it's just going to do much, much more damage. Now, as far as my BG setup goes, I do have these boots. I actually bought them in the auction house because, well, I'm not doing any heroic raiding right now. And the only reason why I use them is because of leech. Once you have your dots up on all these targets, this leech is 2.5%. You're just going to be keeping an extra sustained heal on you. You're going to be doing huge damage too. If you're hitting 100k crits, this is a lot of healing that's going to be coming back to you. And also too, when you're doing 15 million damage in a BG, 2.5% of that is a lot of healing. So these are absolutely the boots that you want to have for my BG spec. Now, of course, for Arena, which I have here, I have a Glad Mastery, and then I have an Arena set. Let me throw that on real quick for you guys. I actually run double multi-strike rings here for Arena, and of course I have my Crit Mastery boots because they're going to scale up to the full PvP level. Leech doesn't work in Arena, so you don't need to be wearing it. Now, as far as this goes, obviously I want to try and find the Mastery socketed version, or the socketed versions to put Mastery Gem in there, but both of them are multi-strike because this is going to give me the best chance of getting a big Shield Slam multi-strike proc or a big Revenge multi-strike proc, and it's just going to lead to more damage. You don't want to have haste in this setup because this is all about burst and chunking your enemy away with 100k hits and getting procs off of that. So, back to talking about gear, let me go into, I think I covered everything in gear, and I think I covered everything as far as talents go. Let me go into macros because I have a couple questions. I'm not a macro connoisseur like some of these other people, but what I do have is a couple macros that I require is an absolute must. Any warrior can use this. I'm sure most warriors have a variation, but some people might be new and just trying it out. I love this right here. It puts my heroic throw, charge, and pummel all in one. Great reason why is because every single time you charge, you're going to heroic throw. It's just more damage, guys. I do sometimes 200, 300k heroic throw damage in a BG, and that adds up. Not only that, say you're at a base, you're in Gilneas, you're fighting, and a nasty mage comes along because they're evil, and they root you in place because they're scum, and you can't break free, you're stuck. And then a naughty little rogue is stealthed over here trying to capture base because they're pain in the asses. So then what you can do is just, boom, you hit the rogue, you stop him from capping, even though you're stuck here in roots because the mage is a bastard. So then, once you finally get your, hey, stop capping my base, you rogue, stop casting my base, I'm stuck in roots, but you're not getting my base. And then finally you get free, boom, you come in here and you can blow up the rogue. So then, that's why I just love this so much. And not only that, obviously I got double time here. Same button. Hey, priest or whoever's trying to cast. Boom. See that? I just pummeled. All same key on my Razor Naga. That little equal mark or whatever you want to call it there. And hey, it's a great, great tool. Not only that, someone's just out of range. They're at 20k health. Guess what? Guess what I'm doing? I can't catch them. But they're dying. They're dying. I've killed so many different people with heroic throw. It's not even funny because they have to. If they're low, they're gonna have to stop and heal. If they stop and heal, then I get in range, and then all I have to do right now is to not have to kill them. Real simple. As you saw, a nice funny heroic or revenge crit right there. So one of the other ones that I use is I have two macros here. I have actually an avatar trinket. The reason why I have two different ones is because let's say you're fighting a priest. Alright? I don't want to charge in and use my Swifty macro, which I'll show you. I got everything on this. You got Berserker Rage, my trinket, my armor potion, avatar, both my legendary rings in case I'm doing world PvP. And if I use avatar and range on my charge in onto a priest, he is going to fear me. And then I'm going to be stuck and I'm either going to have to trinket or I'm going to have to wait it out. So if I'm fighting a priest, I want to charge in, I want to hit him, I want to pop avatar and my trinket, get my damage off, he fears me away, I can break it then with my macro, charge back in, and then hit him with a big, massive damage as you see right there. That is just exactly why I separate and have two on my bar. One, the avatar trinket, and one which is all three in case I really need to kill someone. Obviously, if I'm charging a rogue, he's not going to fear me away, so I can just pop everything at once. But on someone like a priest, where I can get feared, I want to use a little bit of discretion because they obviously have a fear in their pocket. I get feared away, I double time charge back, I can kill them, land that big 200k crit on them because I got my avatar and trinket still up. They're going to die. Plain and simple. Now, I don't know what else I could cover here. I'm sure you guys can leave some comments. This is my first guide, by the way. I'm just trying to get some of the gearing and everything out of the way. You know what? I mean, as far as the crit goes, I just say try and get your 15%. Obviously, with mastery, right now I don't have. Oh, let me take that away, which is an augment rune. I have 77% mastery without my weapon proc. With my weapon proc, when I get the ring proc, see if I can get the weapon proc too. Maybe not. But obviously you can get over 14k attack power. That's without any buffs. That's self-buff. That's just a ton of damage. Once you get into a BG and you get your crit buff, your mastery buff, your haste buff, and then you get your food buff, augment rune, strength flask, you can get 15, 16k attack power with everything proc, and you're just doing absolutely insane damage. And that's how I end up getting 200, 250k crits. And, it's just a matter of, lining up all your CDs and having, of course, a big amount of bonus armor, strength, and then, of course, you want to stack mastery. I have a couple little things on theory crafting right now, which I'll cover coming up in the next couple of weeks or two, because I'm actually still working on getting a socketed ring, maybe some socketed bracers, and then of course I still need 710 pieces in my neck, my helm, and I'm not fully geared yet, I still need it on my belts. So I actually have a chance to do more damage. I'm really trying to see if I can crack 300k damage in the spec with a crit in a BG. I also like to really see what I can do in arena too. The highest I've hit is 138k. I'd really like to see if I can get 150k in arena. That would just be amazing. So I think it's possible. I don't think it's too far off. So I'm going to be doing some more footage. Let me know, guys, in some feedback, comments, other things you want me to leave as far as or cover in a video, some things you want to see me do. I'll try and answer all the questions. I'd link some guides as well, which answers a lot of questions where we keep an up-to-date Prot and Gladiator Stance guide in the arena or the Warrior forums. So that's where I can answer a lot of the questions there. But please leave comment in the feedback into the YouTube channel, and I'll respond to them as quickly as I can. And then I hope to come out with a lot more footage for you guys and show you the way of the shield. The Abomb loves you, and we are Abomb, and we're going to own it up with our shield because, damn, it feels fucking great. Alright, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to sub and tell your friends to come check out some awesome Shield Slam action. Thanks guys.